want to be better prepared for your stakeholder meetings, in particular the tricky ones? If so, what I'm about to share will help you. Firstly, always know who's going to be in attendance. This will give you an idea of what their alliances may be, where they may stand on the issue, possible issues and opportunities that you may need to be aware of. There's nothing worse than being blindsided because you didn't do your research on who's going to be attending your stakeholder meetings. Secondly, choose a venue that is suitable and caters for everybody. The amount of events that I've been to that don't cater for everybody, for example, no wheelchair access and really poor parking, that just does not set a good tone for the stakeholders. Make sure the room is also inviting and that it's set up that people can spread around the room easily, and that if there's a number of you from your organisation in attendance, don't all just sit and congregate in one area, spread out. Or definitely don't sit on one side of the table and everyone else on the other, because it creates a barrier and also a feeling of us versus them. We don't want that. Always have food and beverages, particularly if you've organised the event. Food encourages social interaction and actually helps people relax. Prior to the meeting, know what you can and can't offer. This is essential. I always say if you can, have something that you can take to the meeting that may appease them or address some of their concerns. Identify what you would like to achieve by having the meeting. Make sure that you're clear from the start about this. Also identify what needs to be done, who needs to be there. Don't have people from your organisation at the meeting that don't need to be there. We've all been to those meetings when it's just top heavy with people who've organised a meeting, and everyone else is from the community. There's hardly anyone else representing the community. We don't want that. So just have the key people that need to be there. Also, craft your messages well ahead of time and tailor it to your audience. For example, the language that you would use when talking to engineers or water hydrologists are completely different when talking to community members. And please, please, please don't use acronyms when you're talking to community members. There's nothing worse. If you're presenting technical information, ensure that you select the right person to present this information. So for example, if it's on environmental impacts, you would select a scientist more than a comms person to present this. Make sure that that person is engaging and can relate well to others. If not, find someone else who is, or even better, get the media training. Whoever you select has to be relatable. In addition, I always say, dress for the occasion. You want to be relatable. Don't wear a suit if you're going to a manufacturing site tour. And definitely don't wear a suit if you're going to meet with a farmer, and not your shiny new RM Williams boots or your Akubra. I can tell you now, a lot of farmers don't wear their RMs around the farm, and their hats are definitely not new. You want to put your best foot forward and you want to be relatable. Make preparations to make sure you get there on time. People have taken the time out to meet with you, so make allowances for traffic and any other things that may come up. It's polite and respectful to be there on time, and it speaks volume about how professional you are. Set a clear agenda well ahead of time and make allowances to be flexible. We all know that meetings can change, but always set a clear agenda. Assign roles to participants well ahead of time. So who's going to be the leader, who's going to be the facilitator, who's going to take notes. There's nothing worse, you turn up for a meeting and people all huddled around going, oh, you do this and you do that. It just looks really unprofessional, and plus people have taken time out to come to your meeting and you actually want to engage with them from the onset. Having a meeting and a general run through with your team, if you're doing it in a team, well ahead of time, where you can talk about issues, opportunities, who's going to be there, and also how the meeting is going to be run, and allows people to, in your team, to ask questions and puts everyone at ease. There's nothing worse, again, if you turn up to a meeting and they're talking amongst themselves of how the meeting's going to run. Don't do that. Identify and arrange any equipment that you may need, for example, microphones and projectors, and make sure you test them. The amount of times I've actually been to events where the microphone hasn't worked or the projector hasn't worked, it just looks really ordinary, and I have actually seen where it's actually caused angst amongst the stakeholders. So if you implement a few of these things that I've discussed, I'm sure your next stakeholder interaction will be much more improved. So contact us today to see how we can help you work better with your stakeholders.